effective ways that we can begin to detox. We need to figure out ways to bring that to people.
All right. We got to go to break. Dr. Lonky, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll be right back in 1 minute. I'll give you some more solutions on the other side of this break. Thank you. Stay with us. All right. Welcome back. This is Mike Adams filling in for Alex Jones today here on the Alex Jones Show, Wednesday, November 22nd, 2011, the day before Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. And, of course, be sure to practice caution in your kitchen this Thanksgiving. Don't set anything on fire because the firemen need to be at home with their families this Thanksgiving. They've had a rough summer of it here in Texas. Let's give them some time off. Now, along those lines, hey, don't wrap your Christmas trees in hot lights and bad electrical wiring and then set it in the middle of your house like a firebomb. I bet you we're going to get a warning from DHS about that. Don't put a Christmas tree in your house. Yeah, that's going to be an official tweet. It's another weapon of terror, according to DHS. That's my prediction. They haven't done it yet. Let's not give them any ideas. They're just going to ruin Christmas, aren't they? They're going to unwrap all your presents at the airport, not because there's anything dangerous in there, just because they're curious. They just want to unwrap stuff. They just want to destroy stuff. They want to get the Christmas tree out of your house, get the turkey out of your kitchen. Just make you have a really rough and tough holiday so you remember who's in charge, right? That's what they're after. Anyway, we just finished a segment with Dr. Stewart Lonky, the author of Invisible Killers. And that was my first time interviewing Dr. Lonky. I don't know him personally, but he came up as the guy to talk to about that topic. And I know we did not get to solutions yet, so I want to share some of those with you. Also, we did not get to your calls, and I apologize. The call screen system is not up here right now. We're working on that. I do intend to take some of your calls in this hour. So feel free to call in with some comments. Hopefully we get that working. I'm not ignoring your calls. That's my message to you. I'm trying to get that up and running. But in the last segment, we talked to Dr. Lonky, who I think we could talk to him for hours about the real hardcore information about heavy metals poisoning and the toxicity that is infecting the minds of the American people. And I've got a working theory on this, that part of the insanity that has infected America today, the reason why you have presidential debates where people make no sense, why you have leadership at the executive level that is saying we need to spend a few trillion more dollars to get us out of the trillions in debt we're already in. Yeah, that's kind of insane. That's pure clinical insanity if you think about it. As Gerald Celente, I'm sure, would have a few comments about the insanity going on at MF Global today. These days, it's pretty much insane. But why is it so insane? So I asked Dr. Lonky, do you think members of Congress are suffering from heavy metals toxicity? And he said yes, and he thinks everybody is. But I bet you, if you were to go into Congress and have them subject themselves to blood tests, wouldn't that be interesting? You might find some non-human DNA in the mix there, according to David Icke, right? But you would definitely find some heavy metals in that mix. Probably a lot of lead, a lot of arsenic, a lot of mercury. Everybody who voted for the Patriot Act is probably suffering from lead poisoning. No, I don't mean from bullets. I know what you're thinking. No, I mean from their food, from the lead in their pipes, from that thing, other sources of lead. Or mercury poisoning. Because their moms, let's say, yes, they do have mothers, their moms were eating tuna fish when they were pregnant, and the mercury went through the blood and got into the developing minds of the little infant fetuses that were going to be born and someday become senators. So now they're insane, but they're in charge. That's scary. That's kind of disturbing, actually. Let's not let that happen. Let's get healthy. Let's detox. And along those lines, just from my own experience, oh man, got a break coming up very quickly. Avoid exposure to heavy metals. Eat lots of fibrous foods. Apples contain pectin. Juice, a lot of vegetables. Chlorella and cilantro bind to heavy metals and help carry them out of your body. So does grapefruit pectin and other natural fibers. Detox yourself. Get those heavy metals out of your body and out of your brain, and you will make better decisions as a result. We'll talk more about that on the other side of this break as we are joined by Robert Scott Bell. Patriots and heroes of the free world. We are engaged in our worldwide transmission here on the Alex Jones Show. I'm the fill-in host today, Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. Yeah, the editor of naturalnews.com and an occasional host here. And we've been having a great time with you today talking about all kinds of heavy metals, poisoning, and ways you can avoid that and get that out of your body because it affects the minds of men and women. And shortly, we're going to be joined by Robert Scott Bell, and we're going to talk about our list of things that you can be thankful for, the things that we're thankful for this Thanksgiving. It is actually a holiday of giving thanks. So let's do that. Let's give some gratitude out there where it is due. And we'd like to take your calls during this hour. So please call us at 800-259-9231. 1-800-259-9231. We'll get you on the board and we'll get your calls in. And just before we get to Robert Scott Bell here, finishing up that last segment, I do believe that the insanity that we are witnessing today with the Federal Reserve, with the presidential debates. Remember when Rick Perry couldn't remember the third thing, the third department of government that he was going to cut? I think that could be a mercury side effect. I mean, he was the one pushing the vaccines. Gardasil. Did he take some Gardasil himself? I don't know, but I bet he took some other vaccines and might be suffering from some metals. It's metals poisoning himself. It's just, look, I don't have his medical records, so I don't know for sure, but it is a possibility that these people who can't think rationally and can't speak without a teleprompter, that they may be suffering from heavy metals poisoning. I can only imagine a U.S. senator suffering from high levels of lead and cadmium and arsenic and mercury, thinking to himself, let's pass a Patriot Act version 2, and let's catch criminals by reaching down their pants, and then we'll take some time off from the Senate, Pickler's Fortnight, and I'll go take a long walk off a short pier, and at my feet I will discover Patriot Act version 3, and we'll enact that. That's the level of insanity that I'm talking about. Just complete cats and dogs living together, quote Bill Murray. Total insanity out there. But let's move on to something a little more sane and a little more, let's say, humbling this holiday season. Things to be thankful for. And for that segment, we are joined by none other than Robert Scott Bell, who also is a radio host on the Genesis Communications Network. And he just did a fantastic interview with Governor Jesse Ventura that aired a couple of days ago. Robert is joining us by Skype. Robert, are you with us? Are you there? Hello. Are you on? Okay, Robert, can you hear me?
Mike, you there?
Yes, I can hear you. Good to hear your voice, man. How you doing?
I apologize. I'm not hearing any audio.
Okay, we'll get that hooked up here.
I got you, Mike. Now I can hear you.
All right, great. I thought maybe a little bit of mercury was affecting me there for a moment, but now I realize I'm totally sane. So go ahead.
You're good. I'm definitely not bringing any mercury today. If anything, I'd be bringing some mercury detox with me.
Yeah, what do you think, by the way, on that? Before we get into the Thanksgiving list, what you have actually studied a lot of detox. What are the top detoxification techniques in your experience for getting rid of heavy metals?
Well, yeah, it's a great topic. We covered a lot on the show. There's always more questions, 10 more every time you bring up one of the solutions or 10 of them. And, of course, my background in energetic homeopathic medicine after being raised allopathically or pharmaceutically, having to undo so much of the damage of modern medicine, I think one of the most important things to understand is that there's an energy to every metal. And we've covered this, you and I, too. And, of course, the metabolism of the body we're dealing with energy. And, of course, identifying these toxic metals is one thing. And for many of us who've been exposed, for instance, to mercury through dental fillings or through vaccination or other environmental exposures, there's been so much over time, albeit a small amount over time, that is constantly leaching into the tissue, et cetera, that the body seems to kind of, I would say neutralize it, but it can't react vigorously against it anymore because it's always present, and it would exhaust us to death.
Yeah, it's like being slowly poisoned by a virus or, let's say, a bacteria living in your gut that's been genetically modified and it's churning out Bt toxin in your own digestive tract. I mean, it's that bad, right?
It really is like think of walking through life with a big heavy lead mercury anchor. You wouldn't be moving anywhere very quickly, and pretty soon it'd wear you down basically. And that's what we're talking about with these heavy metals, among many things that happen. So I obviously go to the ultimate in unconventionality, which would be energy medicine, of course, homeopathy. I know a lot of people that are materialists and reductionists are not in favor of it, although it's completely harmless. Some would say, well, there's nothing there. We can get into discussion of that. But I found it to be most profound in terms of assisting all of the other botanical and chelating agents from nature. So and even some of the synthetic nutrients that are used in aggressive urgent care in medicine when they do intravenous chelation. But the missing element typically is the homeopathic signatures, whether it be homeopathic mercurius, which is mercury. We can do it with lead, which is plumbum metallicum. We can do it with arsenic, with arsenicum album. I mean, we can literally pick any metal that is toxic and shouldn't be in the body and address it homeopathically in conjunction with support for the excretory pathways of the body.
All right, so you're not saying if you're suffering a highly toxic level of acute lead poisoning, you're not saying just treat it with homeopathy. You're saying in the emergency room, they'll do the IV chelation.
Right.
They will do maybe some other medicines. But then in addition to that, you can do some botanical approaches and you can do homeopathic approaches which have zero negative side effects anyway to assist in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you only have a plus factor. I mean, if you realize the energy it takes to address and mobilize the defenses to bind and get this stuff out of your system, you'll want every advantage you have. So at the very least, homeopathic adjuncts. And that would also go with remedies that specifically support liver-kidney pathways. You may have already discussed this, but I think one of the other things to reduce the burden on the liver and kidneys with these metals is far-infrared healing light-type technologies.
Oh, yeah, that's great. It helps you sweat out toxins. It's really... Yeah, except if you overdo the sweat lodge situation, in which case you pass out and die, as happened. Who was that? Who was the guru guy that had the sweat lodge deaths?
I don't remember his name, but he just got sentenced to a number of years.
Oh, man.
And that's why we have to be diligent and vigilant, if you will, about even the natural realm, that there are people that don't understand, necessarily how to do these things safely. I mean, obviously, you go into far infrared heat, you go to excess, literally a body temperature issue could put you in a bad way, just like in a sweat lodge scenario.
Yeah, if you feel yourself passing out, people, don't continue. Get out of the infrared little closet there and drink some water.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the brilliant people that put frozen turkeys in peanut fryers.
Yeah, hey, what'd you think about that? Did you like the little firebombing demo that we've been warned about?
Well, it's sort of cheating ahead, because that was one of the things I was going to tell you I was grateful for, that the TSA, the Turkey Security Administration, and the DHS, Department of Homeland Security turkeys, basically, have warned us and saved us. I mean, how many millions of Americans are now safe because of their warning? I
think it's the Department of Home Cooking Security now.
Exactly. We're talking about Taliban turkey terrorism now.
What do you think about vitamin C? See something, say something. That's our favorite nutrient now here at the InfoWars team.
If you happen to see any vitamin C anywhere, you must say something. You must turn that in. It's a controlled substance, more dangerous than anything. Well, actually, no, Big Pharma is the real danger. And by the way, I covered on the show just prior to coming on board here today. Of course, you did as well, I'm sure, the Ron Paul debate, so to speak. I mean, it was him and everybody else, and sensational things when he acknowledged the failure of the war on drugs. And he acknowledged, alone among that crew, as the doctor as well, the danger of the FDA prescription drugs being fought.
He did. Yeah. He said more people are being killed by prescription drugs than was he comparing it to the drug war deaths or terrorism deaths? I don't recall.
To the drug war, to the illicit drugs as such. And we're not endorsing the use of synthetic street drugs either. But the point is, the botanicals of creation are certainly not what we need to be concerned with. We need to be concerned about the growth of government, which is, an artificial creation, and our founding fathers certainly warned us against what we're living through right now.
Well, if you think about the big threats that they're trying to scare us about, they're all imaginary. The whole war on terror, completely imaginary. Where are the terrorists? Where? Yeah. Walk around. Where? I haven't seen any terrorists. Your odds of being killed by a terrorist, even if you buy the 9/11 story, your odds of being killed by a terrorist are far lower, literally tens of thousands of times lower than being killed by an FDA-approved pharmaceutical. So where's the war on pharmaceuticals?
Yeah, where is that war on that drugs, which we might say it would be a legitimate one to declare, and we could actually win and get it done with. I would say if we occupy the FDA, my good friend John Rappaport had indicated that might be the next step here, because they're looking